Right then, boys. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 12.
Yes, episode 12.
Yeah, welcome back to the place to fucking be.
The Scratch Record podcast is called, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
We're again 12. So
I think as of this one going out, it will be the day of the draw for the giveaway. So if you're listening to this, it's already finished, is what I'm going to say, instead of what are you looking at me like that?
because I think it finishes on a Thursday, Joe.
Was it 27th? Oh, on a Tuesday.
Chris, can we have a look at the old cameraman? Chris, can we have a look at the old dates,
It's a good
please?
start, isn't it?
27th is Thursday.
Right.
Yeah,
On the
so anyway.
So as of listening to this, you've still got 2 days to enter the giveaway. So get to the Twitter and Instagram, like literally right now, at the SR podcast.
Yes.
Because it's your last chance to enter. We've had a lot of entries, but you've still got a good chance of winning, because you can get like 5 entries if you go on Twitter and Instagram and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can get loads of entries, so you can have a really good chance of winning it. It's 2 vinyls: Blossom's Foolish Love in Spaces and Kasabian for Crying Out Loud, and a Who the Fuck is Liam Gallagher t-shirt, and it's really good prizes, so enter.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get involved and let us know as well what you think of the podcast so far.
Mm-hmm.
We're still only 12 episodes in, so it's
Yeah.
still pretty new to the game, and
Yeah.
you know, we're starting to up the quality in that, and if you're enjoying it, let us know, and if you're not, let us know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of which, we've got a little bit of a different layout for today's podcast, because we'd normally have one big discussion topic.
Yeah.
And this week we mix it up a little bit. So
Yeah, we're
it'd be
doing something a
interesting to see
little
what
bit.
people prefer.
We're doing something a little bit different, like, because it's all been a bit of a shambles around here. Like, we had a flood and all that shit going on, so we've had such a rush week. So we actually thought we'd take a load of different topics we've seen going about,
Yeah.
knocking around, and we'd see whether we can make a bit of an episode out
Yeah,
of it.
it's more bits and bobs we wanted to talk about that's going on. So it's not one big topic, it's more a few little ones that we want to smash through. So let us know definitely if you prefer that style, or whether you'd rather it be like one big topic like it has been for the last however many episodes. So
Yeah, absolutely. Also, this fucking badger shit.
yeah, okay, I'll tell people what we're doing,
Right,
then,
so-
especially for the people listening and not looking.
Okay, yeah. So my brother come in and he's like, right, you need to try one of these cocktaily things. And I was like, all right, and yeah, go on then. It's Guinness and Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
And he's been raving about it fucking for ages. So I'm like, right, we'll give it a crack. And we thought right now we'd get one going so we can have one with a podcast. It tastes like fucking shit.
I don't know, it doesn't. I think that's harsh. It's just nowhere near as nice as a normal Guinness. I don't know why anyone would drink it.
No, it's horrible.
It's like a fizzy Guinness. Like you get like a bit of that like lemony taste through to start with, fizzy, and then you just get like a Guinness aftertaste. It's like,
Yeah, it's not nice at all. So if I was you, don't fucking try it.
no, if anyone tells you to try a badger and it's bollocks, then it's not.
No,
just have a
it's-
Guinness.
Just have a Guinness because it is fucking horrific.
But still.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but alcohol is alcohol at the end of the day.
Yeah, we'll get us through it.
Absolutely. Get us through the job.
Shall I kick us off with the first
Yeah,
little
go on then.
piece? So I wanted to speak about, I think it's only as news as of today when we're recording this, so it'll be relatively recent, and that is that the Snuts are doing a virtual gig.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to open up the discussion basically about these virtual gigs and whether or not they're a good thing, but just what your opinion is of them. So they're basically doing like a virtual gig. They're playing live from like a barge on a river up in Scotland. It sounds really cool.
does sound
Apparently
really
it's quite
cool
like a
visuals.
well-known venue, I think.
Yeah.
And it's quite a cool thing. But they're selling actual tickets for £7. So you pay £7.
Yeah.
This gives you access to like a private live stream on YouTube. So when it happens, you can jump on, and anyone who's paid the £7 can watch this
Can
live
watch it as
performance.
it goes, yeah.
They're not playing to anyone. You just watch like the live stream, and that's what you're gaining access to. And I'm just not sure how I feel about it.
I think it's a waste of fucking money. I'm not being funny. Like, I rate it, and I rate that they've had to do something different to be able to like start picking up the money again and like trying to keep their livelihood going with the industry. But I think they're fucking ticking along on sales and stuff like that. They're doing alright as a band. They've had a few sponsorships and that, and I feel like this is a bit of a cash grab. Because £7 is a lot of money to watch someone just on your monitor. Do you know what I mean? Like, end of the day, I don't know. You know, I watch a lot of Twitch and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you can watch all them for free and still have a donation thing. And I think they'd still earn a similar amount of money if they were going to be doing it through donations than if they were going to be doing it through selling the one-off tickets. Because there's no tangible tangible experience that you're going to be having with this whole thing, this whole scenario, because all you're going to be watching is some people perform a gig on a boat. Like, realistically, you're not gonna have the same experiences what you would do if they're live.
I've got 2 points, and they're sort of contradictory.
Okay.
So I think on the one side, I completely agree with you. And my main point for that being is that since the start of lockdown, a lot of artists have been doing lockdown gigs.
Yeah.
Lockdown sessions, lockdown karaoke, like stuff like Jack Saunders is doing on Radio 1 and all that. And no one's ever had to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? It's always been on Instagram or anything. And like, you just jump on, you know, especially like right in lockdown, you know, like March sort of time. I watched a few, like Liam Frade, like sat and just did like a 2-hour set on his Instagram live, and everyone jumped in and it was really good. Everyone could comment, he was answering questions, it was really interactive, like it was a good experience, but like no one's ever paid for it.
Yeah.
So I don't quite see why that's changed now to why the fact that they're doing it. I get like they're probably going to be doing it with like properly set up at a proper venue, they're going to have all their equipment, they're going to have a lot of overheads to cover, and I imagine the money probably is only covering a lot of the stuff, and they're probably not. I don't know how much they'll be making out of it.
Well, it depends on, because are they going to make it a limited ticket sales?
Well, no, yeah, it's unlimited, yeah.
It's unlimited ticket
sales. Because they were joking
sales.
about it, like they tweeted out like tickets are running low, and then like when they like tweeted beneath it like, lol, obviously they're unlimited because it's online. So like,
well,
like,
that's
it's sort of a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's funny and it is a joke, and I get that, but at the same time, like, if you're paying £7 a ticket. And, you know, it's unlimited sales, you don't have a point where you cap it off so you know how much is the maximum amount of money you're going to be making. So for them just to cover their overheads per se, like to be honest, if they're paying a whole production team and stuff like that, it's their fault for wasting I feel like it seems stupid because they're wasting the opportunity of actually giving back something to the fans in that sense. Like, it's not as... End of the day, what's the best you can do apart from a few different camera angles and have a team where it's like live streaming, real like TV style production end of it. That's the only extra thing you can do, and it be at a gig venue.
Yeah.
End of the day, if you did a live stream, you know, say, you know, you can have a live stream where lots of people are reacting to something and they don't need you to pay to watch it, and they have multiple camera angles. It's not like they're going to be... It's costing too much of an arm and a leg.
I think the thing is,
I just don't think it's necessary, really.
But my second point was like saying earlier that's contradictory to that. Like, the only argument against it is like they're not begging anyone to buy them.
No, true.
The people that buy them and spend the £7 clearly want the experience. If we don't agree with it and we think £7 a lot of money, we won't pay it. We won't watch it.
Yeah.
So fair crack. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like... I guess at the end of the day, all they're doing is saying we're doing it. Like, regardless of if 4 people buy it or 40,000 people buy it, we're going to do it. If you want to watch it, £7 will help us cover the costs, or will help us make a bit of money out of it in these times.
I think if
you don't want to pay, then you won't watch the live stream, and that's that. And like, to me, you know, that's... I guess that the argument for it is that's calm. Like, they're not harming anyone in that sense, because they're not, like, anyone who pays it wants to watch it and thinks it's worth £7. Then absolutely crack on. That's brilliant. Like, I'm really happy for them. So.
Yeah, and I do agree to some extent. I do think, like, if they're, you know, go by all means make your money, and, you know, grab your cash because you're going to need to at this moment in time. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's something that, if they were going to really think about it in a sense of how they could do it in the other ways, and they could just stream it on Twitch. Everyone knows you can earn a fucking fortune on Twitch in donations and that, and subscribers. So if they just said that they were going to do one, if they sub for a month, that's £5. You know, that's £5 for a month's worth of their content, and they're not going to be posting anything else. So people will know that. You know, or also then there'd be donations as well. So, you know, you can make it... Some people might want to donate £20 because they're really enjoying the content. And that's the equivalent of 3 people and some buying a ticket. So it's like, I don't see the necessity to have to put on this paid venture. Do you know what I mean? It seems a bit extortionate for something that really you could look on Twitch and find someone playing live music at probably a similar level of like professionality to it. That's for me. Like you know, you've seen saying people that do their Instagram lives and that was stuff that they were doing, and people were commenting and they're being really interactive. I think as a fan of the music, yes, we haven't had gigs for a long while, but I'm not going to be dancing around on my own in my kitchen, am I? No. Like watching it, it's not going to be the same atmosphere. So, you know, and to be honest, I don't think even for actual real gigs, they shouldn't be charging more than 15, 20 quid, really, for the snuts. End of the day, I think it just feels like a stretch. It feels like a reach.
I think, I do get that, and I do just think that, like, because it is the snuts, that's what's almost like, if it was a big band, like if Coldplay are doing it, I'd be like, cash grab, like, what are they doing? Like, why would anyone want to pay £10 to watch them play? They're just trying to make money. I don't think the Snuts, for who they are an up and coming band still. Like, they're a big up and coming band. You know, they've just got on the bill to support Libertines in I can't remember when it was, October.
Yeah, something like that.
In Newcastle, like, they're supporting Libertines. They're a big band, but they are still an up and coming band. So my guess is that they're not trying to mug their fans off. No. They're going to be appreciative to that, and they're just trying to.
But we said this before, though. We've had a conversation about the Snuts before, and it was to do with the driving gigs. And theirs got cancelled anyway.
Yeah, it did.
So actually, I think we can
they
say
are on it, aren't they?
We can say that it's not necessarily a cash grab, but I do genuinely think that it is probably a bit of a cash grab. Like, no harm to the boys, like, because I think they make your fucking money. Because end of the day, if I was in the same if I was wearing the same shoes, I'd still be doing it. I just think that actually, the live stream, I think, is a stretch for me. I said it about the driving gigs. I didn't like the idea of them. Just hold it out, wait it out, and if you want to make content for your fans, make content for your fans. Because in a day, some way round, it's going to pay off. I bet for the amount of money that they sell in tickets, they could have got a sponsorship for a big Twitch stream or a big YouTube stream, and they got sponsorship, would have made the same amount of money.
Yeah.
That, or like they've done the Strongbow advert. Get back in contact with them. Get back in contact with people like that, because actually then you're making the same fucking bag, also probably making a little bit more on top of it from your fans through donations and stuff like that. And also you're actually giving it to people that can't afford to donate and can't afford to, go out of their way to spend £7, because, there's a lot of people that haven't earned fucking much money over this quarantine period, to then try and be pilfering out and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit harsh.
I do think maybe, like, a slightly better way of doing it would have been to actually sell an amount of tickets, kept it quite low, and then you could have had, like, the comment section, you could have had, like, Q&A, the band could have had, like, a chat with everyone that was in it, and you could have had, like, special content that you're accessing that no one else is going to have access to. But I think the fact it's, like, unlimited means basically it is just a gig. They're going to play a set. Like, realistically, you could go on YouTube and watch one of their sets with fans and get the same experience for free. So I do understand that. It's hard, but I do understand that bands have had to adapt, and it is interesting to see how bands are adapting in different ways
and trying to make new things. Yeah,
and it's like we were really interested in sports teams Lager.
But again,
which has a similar issue. So if people don't know, the band Sports Team, which I imagine most people listening to this are going to know they're pretty massive. They released their album Deep Down Happy early this year, and it did really well. I think it got number 2 in the end.
Yeah, it got number 2 in the end.
Really good band. We really like them. And they do give a lot of really good content. They're really interesting people.
Yeah, they are. And and the content they create is very good.
It's very good, and I really like them. And they've basically, what they've done over lockdown is got really, and I think maybe it started before as well.
Yeah, it probably did.
It's got really into brewing their own beer. So they wanted their own lager. And apparently, like, I can't remember who it was that tweeted it. Someone in their management or something was saying, like, genuinely they put more effort into this lager than they have their album. Yeah. And stuff like, they were like, they've got really hooked on making it. And I was like, that's so sick. Because, like, really it's the sort of thing, like, us two have always spoken, like, doing. Like, it'd just be so cool to, like, get involved and, like, actually want to come up with your own flavours and what you're going to do with it and how you're going to brand it. And I just think it's so sick. And they basically released it, and it was really sick. Like, the can had, like, the same artwork as their album cover. Yeah, the
design of it all was fucking very really impressive.
Cool. And then we went on, and for, I think, for 6 cans, it was 20 quid without shipping. And it was like, what? Like, literally cannot afford, that's like £5 a can, which, like, on average is, like, it's ridiculous.
No, it's
really.
even more. It's just less than £5 a can. But at the same point, like, you'd rather, I don't know, I like the idea. I do love the idea, and I do get the fact of it's probably only maybe like 3 or 4 brews they did. Like they probably only did maybe
that sort of stuff costs a lot to do. So I get they've got to.
I get they've got to make their
try and get their money back.
Yeah, and make
least.
some.
Yeah,
and make some. So I do understand that, but I was thinking like, shit, 20 quid's a lot of money, man. I'd love to try it, and like fair play, but I do think
I'd love to try it.
I do think as lager goes. 20 quid did seem a lot of money. Yes, it's probably a higher percentage. I bet I didn't know what.
And they were 440ml cans, so they're not quite a pint, but they're not like the little Coke can size. They're like an actual like can of beer size.
Yeah.
Like if they were the little ones, that's like okay, it's a bit of a joke, but they're a bit more. So like,
and also they're memorabilia as well. I guess
they're like collectors, and I do get all that. And to be honest, I don't have an issue with it because I think it's the same thing. Like, you know, I saw it, I really liked it. I thought it was a bit much, I didn't buy it. So like, fair enough. I imagine there's a lot of people that did. So fair crack. Like, they're not forcing anyone to buy it.
No, God no. And I think also partially the amount of money they spent on it was down to how many records they sold.
Yeah, probably.
I bet if they sold less records and didn't get that number 2, they wouldn't have made it 20 quid. Because I think they realised that then at that. Well, anyway, personally, if I didn't get a number 2 album, I wouldn't be trying to sell fuck all for 20 quid.
They're probably trying to ride the wave. But again,
which is fair enough,
that's
mate.
What you got to do. That's what you got to do. So
Absolutely.
I don't mind that at all. But it was a shame because I would have really liked to try a beer.
I would have loved to have tried it. I would have loved to try it. But I think, like, if they're going to do stuff like that, like we went and see the Blossoms. They did a beer with Goose
T-shirt on and everything.
So like they did an IPA with like an ale with Goose Island, which is like it was almost like a collaboration, not merely just them brewing it. Because I don't know who the collaboration was with Sports Team. They didn't really advertise that as well. So I was like, that I could understand, and it was £5 a pint, and you could only get it poured. You couldn't buy it in cans, and it was only available for that day. And they only did a certain amount of barrels. They probably did it again 2-3 brews, and it's a similar sort of money, but it's coming straight from a tap. And I think that's where I find the importance.
But obviously, like it's very possible they had plans to do a very similar event that they can't put on now, obviously because of everything. So maybe if their plans were to have a pop-up event. Similar, you are not enjoying that drink at all. They might have had plans to do like only 1,000 people went to this Blossoms thing. They basically put a gig on. It's where we saw Shame and loads of other people. Like, it was really good. They might have had ideas to do that for their beer. Obviously, couldn't do it now, and they were like, "Look, we're just gonna have to get it out there because they'll have already been in the process of making it." And so, when they've weighed it all up on how much money they need to make back on the whole process. That's the price they came out with, and that's what it is.
That's something that's kind of acceptable, like to some extent. I do still feel at the minute with everything going on, it feels a little bit harsh. It does feel a little bit harsh, and I think like you can do it, and I get the idea. And obviously, you know, when you're spending £5 a pint on the same sort of thing, I can't really argue about it. But I think it's because it comes with the experience as well. Because the tickets for that were only a tenner.
Yeah, if that thing, weren't they?
They're like £8 or something. So like, you know, and it was, you know, including the gig and all that shit. So I think that if they were going to do something like that along the lines, I'd love to know how and whether they were in the process of making the beer or whether it was in, because obviously it probably was in the fermentation process. So
from what they said about it, it's been like a really long-term project. It's not been something that they've gone, like, realistically, the same with the Snuts. They're not sitting there going, everyone's locked down. Do you know what we could do? We could just make a quick beer and we could sell it for fucking loads of money and take the piss out of our fans. Like, neither them.
No,
one's trying to. We're not trying to say that like anyone's trying to do that.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I do just think at the minute, I think it is just a little bit harsh. I do think it's just a little bit harsh in the sense of like what's going on and when you pick your times to do the market. And I think the Snuts want to be able to perform to a large fan base and to the biggest group of fan base they can, and they probably will have a really, really impressive amount of people that have bought the tickets.
The response I saw on Twitter was all people replying, got mine, can't wait, like looking forward to it. And people might have mates round in their garden, all have a load of beers, like put it up on a projector and watch the gig, and like that is an experience. Do you know what I mean? I sort of
Yeah, and I think
that's
if
all
you're
the
gonna do
people I
it like
saw
that,
were
I
people
like
being
that.
excited about it. So, you know, that's, you can't argue with that.
No, God, no, and I do like that, and I respect that part of it as well. I do respect it. I do just think at the minute, I think, well, what a bit of a fucking waste of money. I do just think, like, wait, and then have a really big comeback gig. Have a really hardcore, really good quality comeback gig. And I know, yeah, you're going to say stuff like, they ain't making any money, like, they ain't doing stuff like that. And you're just like, well, end of the day, if they need to make cash and they need to make money, then
The thing is, they don't know how long it's going to be,
something.
do
You
they?
don't.
Like, all of our gigs we had a gig in, you know, May, and then it gets pushed back to July, and then it's been pushed back to December, and then it gets pushed back to April. What if none of these gigs in April can happen? It starts getting a bit like, okay, something else is going to have to crop up here, because it can't go on for like 3 years without anyone
Yeah, God, no.
gigging or doing anything. They're going to have to come up with something, and the only way to try and do that is by doing some of these socially distanced gigs, trying the driving stuff, trying the virtual stuff, and like, bands have got to gauge it, and I get that. And if they do it and they don't sell as many as they want, or people don't feel happy in the money they've spent afterwards and calm, if loads of people buy it and they all have a fucking brilliant night and love it, then crack. Then I'm glad that's it. I mean, if it's not for us, not for us. It's our problem, not theirs, isn't it? Really, like, which is fair enough.
Sure. And like, don't get me wrong, like, I do think, like, fucking make your money, boys. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
I do get that. At the end of the day, like, I'd be the same fucking, I'd be the same type cunt to be making.
We'd be the first people to jump on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important that they're doing certain things. I just think personally, I don't agree with it being £7. If you said £3, maybe I'd be a bit more like, oh yeah, I get that. Or even like £5. I don't know why the extra few quid makes for me feel like.
For me, it's one of those.
It's because I saw Stormzy for £7 back when he first was like an up and coming artist in 2015, I think it was that I went. I saw him for £7 and Post Malone for a tenner live to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, with 1,000 people, and I'm like, actually, if I for £3 extra, I got all of that.
It feels like one of the things that maybe if they'd have like released a load of t-shirts, say, it's something that you say, if you buy one of our t-shirts, you get access to our virtual gig. Do you know what I mean? It feels something like that.
That's what they should have done.
They release a vinyl, or they release a CD, or they do it some sort of, I don't know, some link to something else where they say, if you buy our CD that's £5, if you pay £7 instead, you also get access to our virtual, something like that. I think it's the fact it's been sold on its own, maybe.
Yeah.
Has felt a little bit like, where's that come from? Like,
yeah, and I also think, like, I don't know how they're going to police it. How they're going to play, like, because obviously, you know, when you are uploading videos, obviously our YouTube's now up and running, and we've got videos going up.
Check the YouTube out.
Yeah, get the YouTube going, because actually that's, you know, I've been fucking spending hours editing.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
So
good.
Yeah, so it's good fun. But when you upload a video or you go live, you can make it link only, and half me's assuming that's what they're doing. How are they going to police it if their friend if someone's friend shares a link with them? Because it's the same link.
I mean,
I would assume. So part of me's like, it seems like surely you can just share the fucking link about. There'll probably be a link somewhere, and then are they the big enough to have a team around them if the link gets leaked? They're going to be able to take that leaked link down.
I think it's almost one of those things that you're going to get people that one friend buys a link and they all come around and watch it together anyway, which is essentially the same thing, which is calm. So it's a bit like, it wouldn't really matter. And B, like, essentially anyone who actually cares enough is going to buy it because they care about the band and they want to support them and they want to do that. Anyone like us that feels like they don't really want to do it, we won't. And like, if someone sent me a free link, I'd just be like, I'm really not that arsed about it. I just think like it wouldn't. I think either you care or you don't.
Yeah, I think end of the day, if you went to me like, yeah, on the night of their gig, we're gonna get a handful of us round, we're gonna get some beers in, you know.
There's 7 of us, we all chip £1 in, we buy it, and then you come round and you've got a good hour set of a band that you really like, and you have a few beers and watch it.
Yeah, because I do really like this. I do really like the band. I do really like the music.
Watch them play a full set would be really cool. So mate, like, do you know what I mean? That's, if you think of it in that sense of a bit of an experience of like people having a little gathering and putting it on, and you know, then I can understand it. Yeah, I really can understand it.
If you were a band over lockdown, what would you do to make that little bit of extra cash? Like, what would be your like go-to thing? Would it be art? Would it be vinyls? Would it be merchandise?
You
Would
see,
it be what would it be?
a lot of bands have gone like the merch route, I've seen, or like got vinyls pressed and all that, and I think that is really sick. I think especially for us, or like if it was me or for us now, like either way, these up and coming bands, because they're so small, I do really get the feeling that anything I get from them means a lot, because like, you know, in a certain amount of years, you never know, even if only a couple of these bands go on to become as big as they possibly could be, getting those little special edition stuff they did, just a couple hundred copies. Like I bought the Crooks one they did with just those orchestral remixes on. They did a vinyl just of In Time As She Walks Alone, and I was like, you've got to get that, because they could be massive.
Well,
and like that would be
nice.
something that is just sick. So I think actually if that was me, I'd do something really cool for the fans that is very limited, that you'll cash in on, like,
it is
obviously you are going to
grab.
But it also provides something that is like tangible that your fans can hold on to, and in a couple of years time when you're massive, they can go, oh, by the way, I've got this, and you almost could then pick out the people that
were there from day one,
and you knew they were there for you through this like really tough time.
So what would it be? What would be the tangible objects? Like what would you go for?
You see, I think I'd do a vinyl because I love buying them so much. Like pretty much any band that like we've ever spoken about or I've ever really listened to, if they release a vinyl, I'll just buy it. Because I just think like gathering a collection now of like really cool vinyls. So I think that's what I'd do. I'd do some really cool like coloured, even if it's just a 7-inch with like 2 of your songs on it. Do it coloured, get some really cool art design. Like I just got Baby Lungs one through today. They did a 7-inch vinyl with Falling on one side and Casualty on the other side, and they got like really cool artwork done for the front of it.
Works hardcore.
It's really
Very
sick.
nice.
It's like a lung on the front, and then like one's like on one side. It just looks so sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
And then they've got like the Falling, the girl that was on the t-shirt that I've worn before, that is on the vinyl, and it just looks so good. And I'm like, yes, and that was £7, and I'm like, yes. As soon as they mentioned it, I was like, I need one now. They're like message pre-orders. I was like, just send me as many as you want to send me. But that's something like they've put thought into. It's 2 songs that I really love. It's something tangible I can keep from a band that I really like, and I'm like that. That's the sort of thing to me that I think is a good way to do it. I think
also it's because we've had conversation with them, and they're a really decent band, and like they're people that are actually kind of showing some love for this as well. I think it makes it more personal as well, because you're like also like you're like, oh yeah, let's fucking support them anyway because they're decent lads. And I think that's, you know, I think there's probably people that are like that with the Nuts and people like that as well.
Of course there is.
Yeah, I do think there is, and I think like that's probably potentially one of the reasons for us. But I do agree with you, like something tangible would be the way to go.
What about you? What do you do? T-shirt or something?
Yeah, merchandise. Some form of
T-shirt,
some form of design, and I'd make it myself. I'd do it all myself. You know, as we know that I like doing stuff like that.
Interesting.
A little Easter egg. So yeah, I love doing shit like that. So I think actually with the time that you got on your hands over this period, I've been, you know, drawing up and planning out and looking at T-shirts, jumpers, you know, whatever you could make. I'd be there to try and make a little bit, and even not necessarily do it as a proper cash grab, but it'd be more like, because for me, I want to make clothes that I wear anyway. So like I think it'd be one of them things where I'd be like, look, my band's sick, my lot are sick, buy this because I've done some sick design on it. You know what I mean? Like it looks fucking good. Like end of the day, it's something that I want to make sure.
That's the thing for me, is as long as you provide
something
that will matter to your fans, no matter how many of them there are, then I think then it's sort of fair play. Do you know what I mean? Then it's crack on and make your money, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And bands have got to get creative in this time and do things like sports teams have done and gone, go on, we'll just make a beer, or
absolutely.
And you can respect that.
Yeah,
you really can respect
absolutely. That. I do respect, and you got to respect that. Also, you got to respect grind, because at the end of the day, it's money's money, innit? Money's money.
It certainly is, mate.
But we've got, I think on the record front, like, would you try and make sure that you had a sick art design on the front of it?
Yeah, I think it's massive.
Do you think that's like a really key part of it? Because I've bought records that are demos that have come in a plain white. I've got like records of like EDM tracks and stuff that are all demos that have come straight from like they come in like a Virgin Atlantic sleeve, and it's just a white sleeve.
I've got loads of records that I like, and especially a lot of my like dad's old ones are all like that. Like to the point where like even the middle of the vinyl is the same. So you have to proper go in and like read what they are until you know.
Yeah.
But for me now, I think the way that records have made a comeback, it's all about the package you get, because in terms of the actual song, I mean, I think everything sounds better on vinyl, and it does. But a lot of people,
if you've got a good needle.
Yeah, of
my
course.
needle's shagged on mine.
You've got a proper old. Yeah, but telling you to put a 2p on it though, and it'll sort out.
Yeah, true.
But like I've got like a really good record player, really decent speakers, and like I love listening to stuff on there. But for me now, like it's when a vinyl arrives, like when Baby Long one arrived today, and I got City Lights ones through today, and you open them up, and then like opening them and seeing like what art's in there, what the sleeve's looking like the City Lights one is like one's orange and one's red, and the actual vinyl is sick, and it's like all of that stuff I think is really important now. And
well, I think it's always been important.
It has always been important.
It was 3 years today recording this. It's been 3 years since Oasis's third album.
23 years.
23, yeah, not 3
It's not been
years.
3 years. It's not fucking
Oh Christ!
the year 2000, mate. Yeah.
The year 2000.
3000.
Yeah, I know, but still.
23 years since Be Here Now came out.
Be Here Now came out, and that cover's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, there's always been a big thing about that. Even if you look back at Ziggy Stardust and the
Spiders from Mars.
That's it. That is a fucking unreal album cover.
It's really sick.
And even like Prince fucking Purple Rain, that album cover, like Prince and the Revolution and like that. That's a fucking sick album.
Yeah.
The Queen, all of their fucking album covers are wild. Like, that stuff I think has always been really important.
Yeah, it has.
And I think some of them are plain and a bit bland, and that's probably one of the reasons I don't sell a lot. But I think nowadays, especially because of the era of social media and the era of instant gratification, I think we really need to be involved in, like, it really needs to have something that like fucking grabs you straight away.
Yeah.
You need to be like, fuck, that's sick.
But like it's about sort of giving more than like listening to on Spotify gives you.
Yeah.
The other week I got the Master Plan by Oasis on vinyl.
Yeah.
And so it has like the two vinyls in it, and on the sleeves of the vinyls, it's like laid out like a school like report card. Because the whole theme of the Master Plan like cover is they're all in school, and it's like got like Oasis at the front on the blackboard. It's like the whole theme of it, and basically then like not good. On the actual sleeve, it was like a report card, so it said like song whatever. And then it gave you like the year it came out, because obviously they're all B-sides. There's like more where they were recorded, and then it was what they were a B-side to, so like what their A-side was.
Oh, okay.
All that and then it had like a little description, and they had like quotes from Noel, and they had like things of what he'd said about why they were B-sides and how he like regretted it, and how some of them should have been A-sides, and what he was thinking when he wrote them and all that. And it was like it's having like a book in front of you that I'm like, I didn't know any of this.
It makes it almost like a bit of a biography, I guess,
in the vinyl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like you can always put it on and then sit there the whole time it's playing through and like learn more about these songs that are playing. And I think that's a big key for me now, is like not even just the actual album cover itself, but like all the sleeve design, and then a lot of them come with like lyric books. And like when I got the Latham's one with their 2 EPs on, and that came with like lyric books, and they were printed so well. And even like for a small band especially, to actually have the lyrics in front of me, I was like, I've been singing that wrong for like a year. Especially like Vinland's Victorian and songs that are complicated, I was like, I had no idea that's what he was saying. That's interesting, because like half of them you can't even Google the lyrics because they're so just small. Not out there. So even like bits and bobs like that, I just think it does add to the experience.
God, yeah. And I think that's one of the things, like, the album cover's key for the initial purchase, but when it gets into like owning and going for like actually taking it to the fucking till and being like, right, I really want this thing, I really need this in my life, because it's something that actually, like, they're not something you drop and like leave at like a house, or like if you moved around, that's the shit you take with you.
Yeah.
So for it all to be a whole experience as you're doing it, it's much better than a CD ever was. It's much better than streaming nowadays, and I think it's a massive thing. It is a massive thing. If you're going to go best album artworks though, you're going to go list them, whether it be favourite ones you own, or you know, whether it be best ones you've ever seen but you wish you had. Like,
see, I've got a couple down. I've literally written like that anything that Brian Cannon done is sick, and that is all the Oasis stuff, a lot of the Verve stuff and all that is really cool. And I've always loved
very
the Verve.
simple.
Yeah, but I love that because I don't think you have to overcomplicate it.
No, you
like
don't.
I think a lot of it, and he said once he designed like the Oasis logo, he found that he could actually take a picture, put it in the corner, and it's like album cover. But like, actually, that's so sick, and especially for Be Here Now, like while it's on the anniversary for it, like the way that cover's all laid out is just like, and it's got like the pool, and then they're stood there, and it's so like, it is like capturing a moment, and he's just gone, here's a moment that encapsulates the band. Yeah, there's the band name, off it goes. And
I think that's that one, and definitely maybe have to be up there.
Definitely maybe it's just like, it's so simple. It is like, it's literally them, but then the more you look into it, it's got all sorts of Easter eggs, like the posters around the room and what they're watching on TV and all that sort of stuff. And the stuff that Brian Cannon did with the Verve as well was really interesting. And I really love the one that he did with like the words "the Verve" are like in a cave and they're like set on fire. And it looks really sick. And again, like dead simple really, but just looks really good when he's done it. So I love that. But I also like, I was interested to see what you thought about, like, I love that sort of stuff, but then I quite like what Catfish and the Bottlemen do, where it's all like a really stuff. It's like simple. A set theme. Like all of their album covers next to each other, they're all black with the white drawing, and it's like balcony. It's like the two people, and then they had like the bird on the ride, and they had like all this sort of stuff. But it's all of the same style carried through, and I quite like. Although it's more simple, it's more like the consistency is really cool.
I think and I also think with that album cover, and well that band especially with their album covers, they are, yes, it's consistency, but I also think in general it's still cool art. It is still cool art. That is still something that I would purchase and like I would buy to have on my wall, because it is still something that I would look at and I think that looks fucking sick. It's still, even so, it's not massive and it's not a mega piece of because I see these, because the one that Brian Cannon did was they were massive set days. They weren't just like capture a flick. You know, to be fair, the one with the TVs on the beach. Yeah, that's the only sick. One that I look at and I go, that wasn't expensive to make. No. The rest of them, definitely maybe.
Do you see with that one with the TVs on the beach, everyone who sat there, they got to choose what was on TV.
Oh, did they?
And Noel Gallagher chose himself. So they all picked different people, and to be honest, I was reading about it. I didn't really know who they were. I think they were like TV people at the time, or like musicians that they liked and whatever, and all that. But Noel Gallagher just
skim over
good example.
You're gonna skim over it. I really thought I'd get a little chuckle out of you. Nothing.
Just embarrassing.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Cheers.
But Noel Gallagher just chose himself, so he's like sat there watching TV, and it's just him performing. And but those little Easter eggs are like, you look at it and you're like, it's 5 blokes looking at TVs on the beach, and then you learn more about like stuff like that goes on behind it, and you're like, oh yeah, he's watching himself on there, and you can see who he's watching on there, and it adds layers to it, and I think that's what makes it really good.
Yeah, I also think with them set days, like they're fucking mega, like the Definitely Maybe set day, and the the third album as well, the Be Here Now. I keep forgetting the fucking name of things. Alzheimer's.
Drunk is more likely.
Yeah. So that I think them set days are actually fucking sick. Yeah, outrageous. But I think with the Catfish and the Bottlemen ones, to take it back to that, is they're just still good pieces of art. They're not necessarily the same in a sense of they're really good photography pieces, because they're just not. Yeah. They are really good pieces. Whoever the artist was that's drew them are fucking unreal.
Have you got any favourites? Any favourite album design?
I love the stuff like Carry On the Grunge by
Grudge.
Oh my god.
You literally thought about it then as well, just say it. Anyone who gets a reference now is class, because you know that every time he speaks about it, he says the wrong word. Grudge. Carry On the Grudge, Elliot.
Carry On the Grudge. Yes. Anyway, that album cover, stuff that's painted that, I think is really sick. And like the Killers' new album they released today, the album cover for that is so incredible.
Yeah, it's sick.
I love stuff that's like real pieces of like they are real artistry pieces. They are proper the works, like to the nines. They could be put on an actual canvas and like displayed somewhere, and it wouldn't look out of place.
Speaking of that, that's why I've written down the Love Me to Death cover by Garden.
Yes,
because that's one that I looked at and I always thought was so sick, like so well designed. And they did paint it. Well, Will painted it from Garden, and put it on a canvas, and then they gave it away, and I was so good I didn't win it because I was like, it's such a sick thing to have from them.
Really
But
sick.
they did actually paint it, put it on canvas, and display it because it was that good of an album cover. It was like up to the standard of being able to be painted, be put on canvas, and be like, that is actually the definition of a piece of art. Like it literally then did become a piece of art, and
it's
that
how,
Love Me to Death cover is really nice.
Yeah, and it's how it should be. Like that's how I think how album artwork should be, is if it looks like it should be printed. Like if it should be put on a piece of fucking paper and stuck on your wall, it wouldn't look out of place. And I think that's the key part to really. You're gonna fucking do me over this episode.
You've struggled the last 5 minutes, man. I'm just trying to keep you on.
Yep, keep you
on task.
Keep my quality good.
Yeah.
It's the badger that we've had.
Yeah, it's gone straight to your head, that, isn't it?
It's fucking horrible.
He's been putting faces the whole podcast. If you know what's on YouTube, which you should be.
You should.
You should listen to it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and then watch it on YouTube.
Yes, that's what we want from you all.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it is interesting. I think they're the ones that stuff that's good artistry pieces. Like I was going to mention the Catfish and the Bottom ones because they are fucking
they are really
unreal.
sick. Yeah,
unreal.
Like
and I do like the older ones as well, like all the David Bowie ones are fucking sick. They are incredible.
He had such an artistic vision for the whole thing, didn't he?
The whole process. Hunky Dory is one of my favourite ones as well because
really
of its.
Cool. It's so iconic now. Like you just see it, and it's just like just means so much already.
Straight away, and I think it's brilliant. We should definitely do a. So I've just had my mind went different ways. We should definitely do a video of iconic album covers where it's like zoomed into a section and you have to see whether you know the album cover from that specific section.
That is a good idea. Chris, write that down.
That is mega.
In your notes, you're fine. In your notes.
Yeah, just put in your notes for us because I'll write it then off you.
Cool.
But
that is a good idea.
Up here for thinking, mate.
Cool. Well, now that you've ruined the pace of the podcast, we can switch up to the our new bands of the week.
Yes.
Do you want to go first, or do you want to let me go first?
Yeah, no, I want to drop the single. The single.
You want to drop your single?
Yeah, right, boy. New single, Elliot Farrah.
MC Farrah dropping his single right
MC
here.
Farrah on the
mic. Go on then.
It's a Cosmonaut single.
Mm-hmm.
And it is called My Fucking Piece of Paper's Too Far Away for Me to Read.
You know what it's called.
Cosmonauts, what did you expect?
What did you expect?
And the band is fucking brilliant in general. They were going to be my band of the week, and that's why I forgot the fucking single title, because we had it planned and it was going to be my band, but we switched it up. That fucking single's unreal. Yeah, it's their most recent one. They've released really a few tracks over the last couple of years, and they've built a bit of a following. They're not massive. They've only got 400, 500...
457, I think it was.
Statman.
Sorry,
Chris. Playing DJ in the corner.
And that's it. We're being copyright striked and we're being kicked off everything.
Oh my God, what's happened to this episode?
No, it's calm. It's calm. Keep going. Cosmonauts.
That track... It's got a real nice ring to it as it starts, as its intros in.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very standard for the music, like the indie industry, for it to be very solo guitar stuff as it comes in straight away. And then it brings almost this... His voice is almost like... It is very similar to the Latham's-ish in a sense of it's that... No, it's just nice to listen to.
Yeah,
I can't describe it any other way.
It's just a really impressive, like soothing voice almost, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like it's got a little bit of this nice whine to it, but it's not whiny, but it's like a nice ring that kind of like it's probably the reverb they put on over the top, but it's like a little bit extra that comes from the voice that you don't hear very often, which the Lathams do incredibly well as well. Like I think they are up there with the similar sort of music that they're creating between the two, and they just don't get enough recognition for what they've been putting out
compared to how like well crafted and how well polished their songs are. That new single is like, I think it is their best song and it is superb, but all of their songs, when like we were listening back, are like they're just so like well put together, like they've been thought about so much.
And the quality that the stuff they're putting out is pretty mad. Like it is pretty incredible, the stuff that they're putting forward, and they're actually sending it out for a band of that small caliber as well. Did you said where they're from, didn't you? Or was it one of them ones where they had just such a mini bit at the bottom on their Spotify?
I know I can't remember where they're from.
Cool.
I'm not
Anyway.
sure if I did. We've looked at quite a lot of bands today.
Yeah,
I don't want to
we've
say
had
the
a
wrong
bit-
place. I want to say London, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, but anyway, they're fucking sick.
Yeah, they
Unreal.
are really good. They are really good.
Unreal.
And it's a cool name for a band as well.
Really cool.
Cosmonauts is a sick name
Cosmonauts,
for a band.
really,
I
really
like
sick,
that.
and it's spelt with a K as well. In like not like actual cosmos, like the place. It's not
Moving
sick.
on. I didn't. You need help today.
Fuck off.
My band, I have a really interesting one. It's a band called Courting.
Yeah.
They're a Scouse quartet with 9,000 monthly listeners, and they're like a really heavy punk sort of vibe. Very much like Feet in terms of the way that it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like indie punk, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like it is punk, but it's that like indie take on it with like really like interesting lyrics and like storytelling.
Yeah.
Not like spoken word, but almost like it's like indie rap over it, isn't it? It's quite.
I guess the way that I would describe it is like if you have listened to Shame, if you listen to that their Songs of Praise album the whole way through, like front to back, you'll see a lot of similarities between the two in a sense of they've got a couple of tracks that are almost a bit more mainstream orientated in a sense of that, like One Rizzler with Shame is very much something you could properly sing along to, whereas with the other tracks they're very almost grungy and punky, that are they're more of like
delves
an
deeper,
art
doesn't
piece
it?
and delve deeper with a less listening gratification value, like less straight off the bat. This sounds good. When you start properly listening to it, you're like, yes, this is a very good tune.
Like I've heard these pop about a little bit, and it was only the last few days that they've only got like 3 tracks, but I just listened to them and I was like, and they've got one called Football, and they just say like football like 12 times in the chorus. It's like, football, and you're like, that's.
I mean, it's a little bit more in rhythm than that.
No, it's not. No, yeah, it is. But it's like I love that sort of like a bit like Feet. Like they know they're sort of taking the piss a little bit, but it comes across really polished. Like they're doing it in a way that sounds really good.
Yeah. It's not like necessarily. I think taking the piss is probably a little bit harsh, but in a more of a sense of like, it's trying to re-emulate some of that punk era where it was very much like shout like one thing, like in a sense like the Sex Pistols did. They did it very much like that.
I don't think they're taking themselves as seriously as that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's what I mean by taking the piss.
Yeah.
They're not doing it like that where they're like it's almost this big political message. It's literally a song about football. They're not sort of trying to say anything. It's more like they are like not taking it in a negative way, but in a sense that they're not taking themselves too seriously at all. Like
I think that's probably the best.
Sing
way
about
to
what they want to
describe it.
sing about, and like that. This is the way it's come out, and you really get the feel like they're enjoying it in that sense.
And
that's
that's the best way to describe that band as well. Like they're a very good outfit that make very good post-punk era punk. Really, I guess in post-punk era punk, which cross it with a more mainstream backing track to it.
Yeah, for sure. And they're from Liverpool, and to be honest, there's so many class bands and artists coming out of Liverpool at the moment. It's literally ridiculous. Like I've written down like these boys, and then like Jamie Webster's released his new album today, who's
Jamie
basically
Webster's
like
unreal.
Scouse Jerry Cinnamon, but like he's got his own thing going on with it, and he is very, very good. You know, as he does the Liverpool songs, which grates on me as a Man City fan. So I'm not listening
anyway,
to
that does.
LA like that. But we're skimming over that. But his actual album is really class. Rats I've been listening to a lot. They're from Liverpool, and my single is also from Liverpool. So I can flow straight into it if you want. So it's a new single from Red Rum Club.
Red Rum Club are a sick band
called Ballerino, and I imagine a lot of people listening to this are going to know who they are and have already listened to this new single, but I just felt like it just had to be spoken about because it was that good, and they are that good. And it's sort of a bit of a precursor for their album that comes out in October, called The Hollow of Humdrum, which is a hard one to say, not gonna lie. But I'm so excited for this album to come out, and this has been like this single they released today, Ballerino, is like a proper like teaser for it. If that whole album is of the quality of this single, it is going to be mega. Like it could take them like all the way up.
Absolutely. And I also think that just as a band themselves, they've really galloped up the last few. God. Red Rum Pun for you all. Pun.
Oh, right, Red Rum Pun. Like,
galloping. Yeah,
it's a horse. Anyone who didn't know that?
You should fucking know that. The greatest horse to ever grace the world. Anyway, they have really gone straight up the charts into some extent for the type of level of music they're creating, the type of industry that they're involved in. They still are keeping their gigs quite small in a sense, but they are managed to pack them out all the fucking time.
Yeah.
They're unreal.
I think what they've done that I think a lot of up and coming bands not struggle to do, but it takes time to do. And one thing that I always pick out of a band is they've found their sound.
Yeah,
and I think
really
we say
easily.
a lot on here that like you can see a band like experimenting with a lot of different ways that they're doing it, and sometimes that's class, but sometimes like you can see them trying to find it, and then suddenly they release a song and you're like, that's it, they've nailed it there. And I think Red Rum Club have done that, but they've done it like a year ago, and now they're like as soon as that trumpet comes in or whatever it is in the background, it sounds like a trumpet. I'm gonna say trumpet. it just sounds like a Red Rum song.
Yeah,
Do
you know,
So
you
then,
know it already.
Like they're almost at that point now. Like another band come along, and you'd be like, they sound like Red Rum Club. Like they've got their own sound that is them.
So
and I think
distinct.
that to do that as an up and coming band is so hard to do, but they have developed that like recognisable sound that is theirs.
And
that I
they're
can
still-
go, yeah, this is a classic Red Rum Club song.
Yeah, very Red Rum.
Yeah, I see. I'm doing much better Red Rum Club than you
I
are.
don't know. I don't know the way you just said that. You really.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they're a band that I didn't get to see them in Leeds when they were up there last, but a friend of mine actually supported them. The Lucky Iris. They weren't the Lucky Iris at the time, but they actually supported the Red Rum Club at Broodnell Social Club, and they're playing that again in February. And cheers, Chris. Yeah, in Feb, and that's going to be again something very sick to go witness. And I like the fact they try and keep it quite small.
Yeah.
Yet they could also be supporting Circle Waves as they are after that.
Yeah.
And they're doing it at bigger venues at the O2 Academies, and they'll still manage to be.
When this album comes out, it could be.
I think it's
big
gonna be a
time
big
for
thing.
them. They're so like radio worthy as well.
I'm surprised they've not been picked up by the radio.
They have. I mean, Eleanor, when they released Eleanor, that got played a fair amount. I know on like Radio 2 played it a lot. Yeah, because they kept like, you know, when they like retweet the bots and it's like BBC Radio 2 is playing Eleanor Red Rum Club.
Oh,
that
wow.
did get played quite a lot on there.
That's pretty
So
cool.
I know Eleanor got a lot, and like Kids Addicted and that is like a big song.
Yeah.
So I think they have been, but I think then this is like currently they've got Kids Addicted, Eleanor, and this new one, Ballerina, on on the new album. And if they can maintain that quality for a whole album, it'll be
insane. Yeah, it'll be a very
really
very incredible outfit. They will, and there's something I'd be really excited to see in the new year as soon as we can go back to
as soon
gigs.
as you can.
Because I think they're an interesting band to be able to watch live, because they have a very different dynamic to a lot of the traditionally indie bands. I think their dynamic is completely different in all of their music. I think
They are
it's
so
more
unique.
and it's almost like alternative pop more than it is indie
definitely.
rock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got like this own distinct genre, I guess. It kind of mixes its own thing into it.
Sure.
I think
It's cool.
they are very cool. My band this week.
Go on then.
Right. The Lynx.
Yes.
They only have 2 singles, and they are starting to get a following behind themselves.
Yeah.
And they have 2 singles. They're an Edinburgh band, and the first single is called The Last Line, and the other one's Never Know. And they are 2 fucking
really
big
good.
tunes.
Yeah, they are really good.
Big tunes. And they're as a band, they have this. Again, the voice is something that really stands out from a lot of other voices. And it has its own ring to it that is almost very distinctive.
Yeah.
I wanted to say it was very Liam Gallagher-y, but in a sense of it's almost iconic. You know what I mean? It has that so defined ring to it that you know as soon as you listen to it, you know what area it is. Do you know what I mean? What sort of band it's going to be and what's going to come from it. And they're fucking killing it at the minute. You know, they've got 2,000 monthly listeners.
They've got big stream numbers considering they've only got 2 songs.
2 singles.
Yeah, it's
I
mad.
need a lot more to come from that band for sure.
The quality that you can do of like, because essentially when you only got 2 singles, they're more like demos. Like you're actually saying like, this is the first 2 things that we've come out with, and so it's only going up from here. And the quality of those 2 songs is
unreal,
outrageous,
unreal,
like, really good.
There is big things to come from that band, and especially. Again, we need to do a fucking Scottish tour because there is so many bands.
That's as with the Liverpool scene, the Scotland scene is massive at the moment.
Mega.
They are smashing
Edinburgh and Glasgow, there is some big bands coming around there now, and these are some that as soon as they start releasing more singles and maybe even an EP, we'd be getting to look at some decent fucking crowds they could fill out.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They could fill out some really decent
I think one of
outfits.
those songs has like 35,000 streams. That's huge numbers.
Yeah, and people know, and people have obviously heard of them and have been listening to them and put them in playlists because they're really impressed with the stuff they're bringing out. And to see them still doing that, and if they create a couple more singles, bring out a few more bits and bobs, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing as a collective.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like I said it's every single week now, but like if they could be gigging these songs right now properly, they would just be like on an even more of an upward trajectory than they're already on.
Yeah.
I imagine they'd be so sick.
Yeah,
live.
because they've only released 2 singles, and one being the end of last year, and then one being not too long ago. It was I think it was only a few months ago
It was
they
like June,
released
I
it.
think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they're both unreal.
Yeah.
I just think if they start up the time a little more, and the more that they come out with, the more gigs they play when they can start doing it. Don't be doing a YouTube live gig, making me pay for it. But if you do one and not make me pay for it, I will be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they are fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Very, very good band, and I'll be really excited to go see them live in Edinburgh. We've got to do something where we go.
I will be touring. Scratch Record tours on the cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Paint the car.
You know, yeah, don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it. No spoilers. No spoilers. Yeah, big things are coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for today.
It does.
It does, because I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too.
I need another beer.
You need to wash down a taste of that badger.
Yeah, that fucking... I'll tell you what. Right.
We've opened the show with a badger and we're closing it with a badger.
We are. And if any of you know my brother, please tell him that the fucking badger's shit. The badger cocktail.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I got to a point, some parts of it were all right. There was points where I'd have a little sip and I was like, nice. It was all right. Those other parts, my God. It's just like had this, you know how like Guinness has like a metally twang?
Yeah.
It was like a lemony metally twang.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it was. And it made it fizzy, which was odd, but
Guinness should not be fizzy.
we'll just have some plain Guinness after this, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, be very pleasant.
Cool. Yeah, let us
anyway.
know what you thought of that sort of setup in terms of it being we had a few little topics that we went through, and whether that felt like better for people, whether you prefer to have one big one. I'd be really interested to see, because we can adapt as we go. I say it's only episode 12, so
yeah, we've still
let us know and we can adapt and change it and like do it in a way that people enjoy listening to it more as much as we enjoy doing it more. So
yeah, absolutely. I quite like doing it that way a little bit more.
I enjoy that.
I think it's nice to have a big topic every now and then, but to get it more current and little snippets of like news topics, I guess, is something that I think I'd be really down to keep doing.
Sure, let us know. And you've got 2 days to enter the giveaway, as we worked out earlier. So
2 days. It's not today.
Instagram.
It's not today.
No, 2 days.
2 days.
Thursday.
Thursday, the 27th.
Literally all you've got to do is like a post on Instagram and follow us, which you really should be doing anyway. And on Twitter, all you got to do is retweet it and follow us.
It's easy game.
It is so easy to enter, and it's such a good price. So get on it.
For sure. 2 days left. And if you are not following us on the fucking social medias anyway, get on it.
You're missing out. Cause
the YouTube, if you're on it for YouTube and you've listened and watched for an hour, I'm very impressed. Please subscribe.
Subscribe, like, comment. It's fun saying that. That feels legit, that does.
Subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Let us know what you're thinking, and how you found us, how you come across us is something that I'd like to know on the YouTube for sure. But yeah, real good to see everyone this week. Yeah, it's been really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. So I'm going to go get a Guinness that's not a fucking badger.
Yeah, me too.
Right, we'll see you on the other side.
Next week.
Peace.
Cheers.